I'm more of a domestic policy guy than a foreign policy guy, but even I can't help but notice how weird foreign policy has been since Trump took office, how weird the international stage has been, the international scene, how chaotic that has looked like, and how fast it all just escalated within 2 to 3 weeks. Like, really? It just took this guy coming into office to all of a sudden throw everything like into chaos. And that's not to say there was no chaos while Biden was president on the international stage. There was, but now there's all this stuff that there wasn't before. So yeah, especially with our allies. Like, why is Trump putting our allies through all this nonsense, like this tariff stuff and whatnot? But yeah, the CNN article from Rob Pachetta talks about this. For 2 weeks, America's friends held their tongues. Since his inauguration, President Trump has enjoyed a steady stream of warm words and very little criticism from leaders in Europe and the Anglosphere who privately might bristle at the noise and bombast he brings to the White House. But that accord was never bound to last, and it shattered this week after Trump unleashed perhaps his most provocative foreign policy idea yet, taking Gaza under American control, relocating its Palestinian population, and redeveloping the enclave into the Riviera of the Middle East. So people are memeing about Trump building a Trump hotel in Gaza. Do you think that's going to happen? I don't think it's going to happen because people are memeing about it, so it's too good to be true. And I'm not saying that's good, but like I'm saying it's like too outlandish to be true. Trump supporters would probably think it's good. They'd be like, yeah, build a Trump hotel in Gaza. That'd be cool. But yeah, no, I don't think that's actually going to happen. People are just memeing about it. The suggestion seemed to shred in an instant decades of Western policymaking, darting away from a two-state solution model that had been long established, if glaringly elusive in terms of progress. Nations rushed to reject it. America's allies in the region reacted with disbelief and concern about the impact the call would have on live diplomatic efforts, particularly the ongoing ceasefire and hostage negotiations between Israel and Hamas. Palestinians have expressed dismay at the prospect of leaving their homeland. Yeah, so anyone who voted for Trump over Biden based on Palestine and based on wanting Israel to stop bullying Gaza, please understand that you didn't make the right decision. I'm sorry to say. Trump is not more pro-Palestine than Biden is. And I mean, the bar was already pretty close to the floor, but like, for crying out loud, this guy could actually lead to the end of Palestine. In Europe, where the US usually enjoys less complicated relationships, leaders varied in tone but were clear in their stance. They do not support this. Still, Trump has left America's partners in a difficult spot. Criticizing the US is a last resort for many leaders. Doing it so early in a presidential term is fraught with downsides. Now, I imagine that would be because they don't want to, poison the well, poison the relationship early on when it's like, this guy still has 3 years and 11 months left. So like, we gotta be nice to him. If we're gonna start beefing with him, we gotta do it later on in the term, maybe during the election year or something, not in February when he just took office on January 20th. No way. Quote, my read is that they're all gobsmacked. They didn't see it coming, John B. Alterman said of America's allies. Alterman, a former U.S. State Department official, is now the director of the Middle East program at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, a Washington-based think tank. There are wider, more diffuse reverberations too. Trump's history of haphazard geopolitical interventions has already threatened to ideologically isolate the U.S. bit by bit among its global allies. His remarks on Gaza, whether they represent an idea, a plan, or something in between, may accelerate that process. Quote, this administration has not only an instinct but an appetite to be disruptive, Alterman said. He predicted a, quote, much deeper soul-searching in Europe about how it wants to engage with a U.S. that is much more self-absorbed and much less committed to supporting a multilateral system. Trump versus Europe. Most Western nations are cautious of the unpredictability Trump brings to the White House, but they were more prepared for his second election win than his first. They expected a test like this, and their responses to Trump's Gaza plan highlighted how they might more broadly tackle Trump 2.0. The UN was robust, its Secretary General warning Trump against ethnic cleansing. France said the proposal would constitute, quote, a serious violation of international law. Spain's foreign minister told radio station RNE that Gazans' land is Gaza. In Western Europe, only Dutch far-right figurehead Geert Wilders broke rank to endorse the plan. Quote, let Palestinians move to Jordan. Gaza problem solved, he wrote on X. Really, buddy? You think it's that simple? Really, Geert? You joking? German President Walter Steinmeier said the suggestion was unacceptable, and the country's foreign minister, Annalena Baerbock, said it would lead to new suffering and new hatred. Quote, as a career diplomat, my job was always to explain the interests of the U.S. government in the best light possible. President Trump made that a tougher job. Eric Nelson, Trump's former ambassador to Bosnia and later the associate director of the German-American Marshall European Center for Security Studies in Munich, told CNN, quote, it was very hard to anticipate what he was going to do next. In Germany, the government reaction is as expected. They're very dismissive, he noted. An upcoming federal election has increased the incentive for the beleaguered German government to condemn Trump, who is widely unpopular in the country and across Western Europe. It is a dynamic Trump's team will be relaxed about. Quote, they're not going to expect Western capitals to break out in a chorus of Me Too, sign us up, said Nathan Sales, Trump's former coordinator of counterterrorism. We don't have to agree with our friends 100% of the time. Besides, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and his government have little incentive to hold back. They likely won't be in power next month to clear up the mess. But criticizing the U.S. president is not easy for everyone. No, it's not. And I mean, it seems like it's hard even for Democrats these days. Take Britain. America's steadfast ally is desperate for a productive relationship with Trump, and early signs indicate that a charm offensive from Prime Minister Keir Starmer is paying off. Trump said this week that Starmer had been very nice and hinted the United Kingdom could avoid the tariffs he has threatened for the European Union. That is a monumental carrot for a British leader looking everywhere for a kickstart to economic growth. Yet those bridges are built on sand. London is acutely aware that an ill-judged remark could upend months of work to appease Trump. That's true. He's very volatile. If you make an ill-judged remark, he will throw you under the bus. There will be a Truth Social post going after you. At the same time, Starmer knows the pitfalls of appearing subservient to an American president. It's exactly what he once launched barbs at conservative prime ministers for. That conundrum forces some delicate wordcraft. Quote, on the issue of Gaza, Donald Trump is right. Starmer's Foreign Secretary David Lammy told reporters in Ukraine this week, reciting the part of his answer intended for an audience of one, quote, looking at those scenes, Palestinians who have been horrendously displaced over so many months of war, it is clear that Gaza is lying in rubble. The rest was meant for everyone else. We have always been clear in our view that we must see two states, and we must see Palestinians able to live and prosper in their homelands in Gaza. Okay, so you get the gist. Trump is not popular for what he said in Gaza. And yeah, it seemed like things were like going okay, before he took office, in the sense that like he was meeting with world leaders and you were getting these pictures of him and our allies, their world leaders, looking happy and looking like they're getting along together. And it's like, oh, okay, not so bad. But then as soon as he gets back into office, it's like, oh, we're back at square one again. They're remembering what Trump was like as president. Although he never floated anything like this about Gaza or really quite any other nation, I think, during his first term as president. So our allies are learning more about this man every day. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, please like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. This has been The More the Merrier, and I look forward to speaking to you in my next video.